special part. How's that a cold open for you?
It works. I mean, there's only two of us, so it's pretty clear it's different.
Yeah, so basically this is just a extra topic for the week. We figured you guys might want to hear our thoughts on the GFriend new second album, Time for Us.
And there's like 8 billion things we want to review, so
yeah, basically we're just like put this on the fast track and save the rest of the stuff for the actual episode.
Next week we're reviewing Tiffany AT's 17, and then we're talking about ITZY and TXT.
Yeah, so we got a big order coming.
Yep. So
anyways,
we're throwing GFriend at the end of this.
Yep.
And then Andrew's sick, so
yeah, Andrew's not here because he's not feeling well, so we're here to hold down the fort.
We have his and Cooper's overall so we decided, after our last review, instead of reading the notes for every song for the people that are absent, we're just going to read overall thoughts because it takes a little too much time to read 4 people's thoughts on every song.
Yep.
Okay. So, you want me to run, or are you running it?
Yeah, I guess you can run the tracks, and I'll just keep the slideshow going.
Okay, doke. So yeah, we are reviewing GFriend's second full album, Time for Us, and the first song up is Sunrise, which is the single for the album. For me, I like the piano intro, but I think overall with this song, it's just I'm finally getting like GFriend fatigue. It just doesn't sound new enough or like interesting enough compared to their last few songs. So they're starting to get boring. And I kind of felt this coming on all through last year. But I think this is where, like, this is so similar to Time for the Moon Night that it's just like, why? Like, there's nothing interesting. Why would I listen to this? I already have this song, basically. The one thing to note, I do really like Una's high notes at the end. They're really, really good. And then on top of the fact that the song is just like, the choreo is like nothing special, which is for GFriend is like, they have a pretty high bar for choreo. So like,
yeah,
like that sucks that also doesn't impress me. And then the music video is just super generic and boring too. So like overall, I think it was a pretty bad comeback in terms of the single. I do really like their styling. That's the one part of this comeback that I like a lot.
Yeah. So for me, like, I've seen mixed reviews on it so far. However, like, I'd put myself in favor of the song overall. I think like the biggest standout for this song is that like is the GFriend like patented string instrumentals that we get throughout the chorus, and I think it like mends perfectly with the girls' vocals, and I think, you know, that they've definitely got down to a science. I also really love Yuju's like hey part in the chorus. That was the part that instantly was like most infectious, like upon my first listen, and is the part that gets like stuck in my head the most. The only criticism I give is the like, it's basically the standard one that we give GFriend. We've been giving GFriend for the longest time, that like they're really not reinventing the wheel like with their title tracks, and it's at this point I feel like they're just pandering to a limited part of their fan base, like their most inner circle, where like I understand that they're kind of fighting a two-way battle where, like, you know, you want to bring in new people and new fans, but you also don't want to piss off the existing fans. But I think it's also in like kind of a problematic space where like their fandom wants nothing but the same exact thing over and over, and it's kind of holding them back. So
yeah, I think they have ways to do it to appease both, but it's hard. Like I just wish they would experiment more with that song. I'm fine with them keeping that as the basis for the song,
Yeah.
But just like do different things with it. Like this literally sounds like they just took Time for the Moon Night and like copy pasted it and changed some things around. Like it's so similar in style and sound that it's just they didn't even try to do something new.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to You Are Not Alone. And this, on the other hand, is something I really enjoyed. I thought it was amazing right from the start with like the spacey synths, and then it leads into the guitar and like the really driving beat. And then on their vocals, they use like a really good echo that adds to that like space sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought this was fantastic. Guitar solos are always welcome in K-pop, in my opinion. So
always.
I really, really like this song, and I was like going from Sunrise to this, I was like, okay, I already know that I feel like Sunrise is probably gonna be like my least favorite song on this album. Like if the rest of the album tracks are this good, or like they're actually doing things different, then like I don't know why Sunrise was there, but like we said, it's trying to like keep that fan base that loves that sound, and it sounds like they're throwing all their different sounds onto the album tracks because nobody listens to those anyway, but hardcore people like us.
Yeah, so for You Are Not Alone, like this song was instantly like stood out more to me just because it was something that was much more like fresh and different, and it wasn't something that they necessarily had tried yet. And honestly, I feel like this instantly would have been a better title track because I feel like it's different enough, it's fresh enough, and it still stays within that, you know, that innocent, cute, innocent concept that their fan base likes to see from them. Like the instrumentals are very full, which typically, like for me, like when it gets full, it usually can feel a lot of like, it can either feel like crowded or like intimate, like very close in. But with this song, it actually makes it feel very big and open, which is similar to what you were saying with like the space effect, which I thought gave it like a very like uplifting appeal, which is definitely in accordance to the title. But yeah, also as always, the vocals were really well done as well.
Yep. Next we have LUV, a cover of
the Daebak song. Yep, that's the first line of my notes.
But for this, I thought it was interesting because I got tricked. Like at the very beginning, they used their like GFriend synth. That like it's literally what I call it. Like that synth sound they use all the time. It's like they use that exact synth, but then it switches like 90s style pop with like a hip hop beat, and they have like some like diva ad libs in there, like Mariah Carey style ad libs, and that just like came out of nowhere, and I thought that was awesome every time they use that in the verses. The choruses are a lot more standard pop. I do like the addition they threw some like brass instrumental synths in there. They're definitely synths, but they're not actual brass, but just to spice it up a little bit. And I did want to give a shout out to the fact that there's actually a legit rap part in the song, which GFriend never gets. So that was interesting too. So yeah, I definitely like this song a lot too.
So for me, I was a little on the other end. In this song, like the vocals didn't really blow me away as much, except for what you were saying. I thought the ad libs were well done, but like the actual verse lyric or verses were not, like, I guess as up to par. And I think it's mostly to do with the amount of rapping that's used in the song. I think it's a little too much. Like it's like constant throughout the whole song, and I don't think rapping is really GFriend's strength. No. So
I just wanted to give him bonus point.
I just credit. Wasn't. I think if they just cut back on that, I would have liked the song more. But yeah, on that, like what you're saying, like the GFriend synths, they're like very like percussive, like higher pitched ones that are like sprinkled throughout the background. I thought those were really nice as well.
Yep. Next we have Glow. And for this, I thought there's a great bass line from the beginning. It's a little weird though, because it seems a little out of place with the rest of the instrumentals in the song, in my opinion, like at least at the beginning. I really like the chorus. There's like these like 8-bit style synths, and then there's like also like spaceship and like laser gun sound type, like 80s like sound sci-fi sound effects.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I thought it made the chorus really stand out. And I really like how in the second verse they added a string line. I thought it helped build it up compared to the first verse. And one thing to note for vocals, obviously like GFriend's vocals are fantastic all the time, so I don't really point that out. But for the pre-chorus, I really like the melody that the vocals follow leading into the chorus. That really stuck out to me.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so my first comment was like I really, really like how this song was mixed. Like the vocals are very like front and center and forward, which is like my favorite, I'd say. I like being able to hear like the little gritty details and stuff in the recording of the vocals. So as much detail as I can get on the vocals as possible is always great. And yeah, in comparison, like the instrumentals aren't too quiet either. I think it's a very, very good balance. Yeah, the pre-chorus serves as a really interesting build-up in the chorus, but like I don't know, like I really like the instrumentals in the chorus, but I felt like the vocals like didn't go where I wanted them to, so at first it kind of like didn't impress me at first, but when I was listening to it like a second and third time, it grew on me quite a bit. So yeah, this is one of my favorite songs in the album. One of my favorites. I know I have an absolute favorite.
Yeah, I don't. I have two favorites. And next is one of them. Next is Our Secret. So this is like
predictable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it's interesting because like it's really like a funk sound like song. And I really like they are using the piano as the beat almost. So I thought that was really interesting. But then like it's definitely got the chorus is definitely influenced by Tropical House with the whistling synths.
Yep.
And so obviously I love it for that. Anything Tropical House is okay in my book. So yeah, this is one of my favorite songs, along with another song that has a house influence, but we'll get to that later.
Yep. I know which one that one is too.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, despite this being Tropical House, which me and Andrew have been saying for like months that this is a trope that's getting beat to hell, I actually really like this song. I
think because it's not like true Tropical House. Like I said, it's a funk song with like tropical influence.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like this isn't really a thing that GFriend has really done before.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of gives that a little freshness, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, like I would have liked to see what would have come like if maybe this was the title track, since they haven't done a Tropical House song. Like even though like literally every other group has done it, I'm just curious like what GFriend would do with that sort of concept. However, I guess it is kind of like the wrong time of year for that, considering it's the middle of winter. But I mean, it'd be interesting. Do like a tropical Christmas in July or something. I don't know, whatever. Or July and Christmas, rather.
Say Christmas in July in January.
Yeah.
Tropical House, Christmas in July and January.
Yeah. But yeah,
let's try it.
One other thing is, I thought Umji's voice stood out pretty well in this song, which I'm happy about because she tends to like not stand out as much because I don't think she's really like the main vocalist in this group. But like over the past few releases, she's been standing out more and more, which I like. So
yeah. Next we have Only One.
Over the overall, song.
Okay, yeah. No, it's not because they use the number instead of the word.
Yeah, but no, my thoughts. You'll know what I mean.
Yeah. I think overall this was the first. Other than Sunrise, like out of the album tracks, this was the one that was like the first like standard GFriend song, with the synths that they usually use. I do like that the guitar lines are more complex than usual, especially during the verses. There's like a couple different guitar parts doing different things at the same time. So I appreciated that. And then I do like they switched it up in the chorus and used like glitch vocals. That definitely made it stand out a little bit to me compared to if they didn't do that, this would be very much just like, okay, this is rough era GFriend standard, like strings and guitar type thing going on.
So for me, this song probably stands out the least out of the songs, and it's for a particular reason, because I actually like the song, but like the main problem with it is that to me it sounds too similar to Daebak's song Only One. And like after I listen to this song's chorus is not what gets stuck in my head. It's the one from the Daebak song. It's like, you are the only one, baby. Like, and I like immediately forgot what the chorus of the song sounded like.
It's amazing.
Yeah, well, I can't sing, so you'll have to deal with it. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. That's the main problem with it, is that like after I listen to this, all I can think of is the Daebak song, which really doesn't do this one justice, because like there's some things I really like, because I really like as they approach the chorus, like in the pre-chorus section, I like how it starts off gentle and gains intensity in like 3 different like intervals as it approaches the chorus. I really like that part. So basically I just liked everything except for the chorus, because it reminds me too much of another song. But yeah, like
understandable.
So I think it'll probably grow on me over time, so I'm not gonna write it off as being a bad song. I just I need time with it.
Yeah, I understand that. Next we have Truly Love. And this song I loved straight from the beginning. I truly love this song straight from the beginning, because it's not something GFriend usually does. Like, this is like synth pop and straight up, and like I said with Sunrise, like I'm getting a little bored of the usual like strings and guitar and piano GFriend songs. So like going full synth pop was just like refreshing. Yeah. And I think the like actual synth line during the chorus is like the perfect amount of catchy. So I really enjoyed the song.
Yeah. How long do you think we'll have to wait until we get a song named Truly Daebak?
We're never getting that song.
That'd be amazing.
It would be, but
like if that existed, it would have to become our theme song.
They never combine English and Korean words and titles though.
I wish they would. It would be so cool.
Yeah, it would be. But it won't happen, unfortunately.
That'll be the first single of IOI when you reignite them under IOI Entertainment.
IOI Entertainment, yeah, 100%.
Their first single is Truly Daebak. All right, anyways, so my initial thoughts was like, oh wow, another EDM styled song, because that surprised me. I wasn't expecting to get more than one on this album, to be honest. Especially like if you consider like what the music video and like cover, like album cover and stuff look like, you're like, okay, this is another GFriend album. But yeah, we got some EDM songs. I really like the build up in the pre-chorus, which eventually led to another pre-chorus. So I think what happened was I interpreted the verses in a particular area as being the pre-chorus, but it's like, nope, the pre-chorus was after that. Yeah, and then it led up into the drop chorus, which was, you know, obviously the main highlight of the song. Which that whole thing like faked me out, which is weird, but yeah, I like it. I thought the bridge was a standout moment of the song, like towards the end, which I believe was sung by Soan. Like it sounds like her, although it could be Shinbi. So if anybody knows, let me know the first part of the bridge, because then comes in Yuju right after. So I think it's more likely Shinbi, but I think it was Soan, just by voices. But yeah, I was surprised by that. That was pretty good.
Yep. Next we have Show Up, and this is my other favorite song because it's literally, they did deep house, which is like what GFriend did, a deep house song. And like, it's weird because the choruses aren't deep house. Like the choruses are more standard pop music. Yep. But like the verses are 100% deep house, and I never expected that in a million years from GFriend. Like this is the type of experimentation I want in their title tracks. Like you can keep that standard GFriend sound, but like mix it up a little bit. Like you don't have to.
And then you know what's gonna happen in the comments. People are like, they're copying Luna, because apparently Luna's the only one that can do that. But
yeah.
But yeah, that was actually one of my first thoughts. Was like, it starts out with the feeling I was like, oh, this sounds like a Luna song, and then immediately that's just thrown out the window. Like, it starts out with like chill percussive synths and like vocals and stuff, and then it immediately is like thrown into overdrive, and the pace picks up into a really hyper and happy like chorus, which is blessed with Yuju's vocals, as always, I guess. But yeah, it actually goes through that same cycle twice, where it kind of like starts out low in like the chill like deep house area, and then just gets thrust into the chorus, which I thought was weird, is that only happens like twice, which I would have expected it to happen 3 times like usually most songs do. But yeah, it's a cool song. I liked it.
Yep. Next we have It's You, and this one's interesting because it's like got an R&B style beat. It's got like spacey synths, and then like their vocals are more ballady.
Spacey synths. TM.
Spacey synths is my favorite way to describe that, but I don't know how else to describe it. You know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
So like, it's a good way to describe it. I just thought it was a cool mix up of styles. This actually though reminds me more of like an Uju Sonyo song than a GFriend song, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's from their like same producer, because this is very much sounds like an Uju Sonyo song.
Yeah. So for me, like in the beginning, like it's like set by like a lone synth beat, like sort of that serves as the percussion, and then it's like accompanied by actual percussion, which is weird to be caught off guard by, I guess, because it's the very beginning of the song. But it was a little, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, then that sort of like beginning intro section like transitions into the main part of the song, which is where it really gets interesting, because this sounds like a typical GFriend song to me, but it's like it's like mixed with these interesting like hip hop and R&B influences. It's got like hi-hats and stuff. I was like, what? It's like you traded in your synths for your hi-hats, your strings for hi-hats.
Producer's name is Space Cowboy, so
seems pretty good. All right, I'll take it.
The spacey synths.
Wait, what is that a reference to?
I don't know.
Somebody will say in the comments.
There's a lot of songs called Space Cowboy.
No, I think it's like a quote from a movie or an anime or something, because I'm thinking Cowboy Bebop, but I feel like it could be from the movie too. Yeah. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. Somebody in the comments tell me what I'm thinking of.
He's part of the One Piece production team.
Wait, what?
Which does a lot of Lovely's music.
Wait, they're called One Piece?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it is based on Cowboy Bebop, because One Piece. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Anime nerds producing this song, apparently.
I'm assuming, at least, with their name choices.
Yeah. Next, we have A Starry Sky, and it's a ballad. It's a GFriend ballad. And for me, that's pretty much the extent of my notes. Like, to me, it was exactly what I expected from a GFriend ballad, and nothing more or less, basically.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much for me as well. It's much more of a song that I would have like expected them to do on this album, I guess. It didn't really blow me away much at all. Like, I just feel like this is I don't know, this is like the same acoustic ballad that we get on every girl group album nowadays. So I don't know. I think this is just a style of song that I'm kind of just numb to at this point.
You're over it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to do something special with it to really like catch our ears at this point. Hence the term, it's a ballad.
Yep.
Next we have Love Oh Love. And this is another one to me that sounded like standard rough era GFriend.
Yeah.
I think this one I liked a little bit more because it has more focus on the guitar, which is from that era, and rough is probably my favorite GFriend title track. So I like going back to that era with the more focus on like the rock side of it. There's a really awesome like funky bass and guitar solo like bridge that they have. I was really happy with that. And then the outro really stood out to me too, with the focus on the instrumentals. And then like at the very end, there's like the echoing vocals that do the channel switching, going from like left to right. So that stood out to me. I liked that a lot. So I think overall, out of the like non-experimental tracks, this was probably my favorite.
Okay.
Not counting the next song, which is Cheating.
Yeah. So for me, I said like this is another typical GFriend title upon first inspection. However, like I think this is more like an early A-Pink sort of song is what it like gives off for me, which I don't know is a positive in my mind. I guess it's like a subtle difference, I guess, but it's a style that I feel like nobody else really does within like the hordes of new girl groups that are debuting over time. Like it's like there's the sort of like genre of like cute girl group songs, and it's kind of like a little small segment that nobody really goes back into. So I don't know. I like to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. There are a couple of girl groups that like did it, but it's not very many do it nowadays. And finally we have Memoria, the Korean version. And for me, actually, this stood out a lot because I didn't really give this song much of a chance when the Japanese version came out. I don't really know why. It just, at the time, it just didn't catch my ear or something, or I just didn't even really listen to it and pay enough attention to it when I was listening to it for releases. But I think this might be one of the best GFriend songs, just overall.
Totally.
After listening to it on this album, like it's like a perfected version of their signature sound. Yeah. If that makes sense. So yeah, I think like if you're not experimenting and you want to keep doing that sound, you need to do it to this level for it to be interesting to me nowadays. Yeah. If that makes sense.
So, if this song wasn't already like previously released in Japanese, I probably would have chose this as my favorite B-side on the album. But It's You actually would have been my absolute favorite. I forgot to mention that. I just liked how like unique and different it was, I guess, for them. It's like a weird fusion, I guess. Anyways, back to Memoria. As per usual, I prefer this version over the Japanese version. I just feel like Korean just sounds better in my mind, I guess. I don't know. But it's just smoother and fits better to music and my personal taste. But yeah, I'd say both versions are great and certainly worth checking out. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we covered it on releases, right?
Yeah, we definitely talked about it on releases.
So
I just remember for some reason it not catching my ear as much. I don't know if it was just going through the releases.
GFriend syndrome.
If it was GFriend syndrome or just going through the releases and I just didn't pay enough attention to it because we have so many things to listen to. But yeah, I definitely love this song. And that's it for us.
Scores.
So we'll do scores, and then we'll also read, while we're doing scores for Andrew and Cooper, we'll read off their thoughts for the overall album. Yeah. But for me, I gave it a 5.5 for music out of 7. I think the majority of the songs I enjoyed. I think Sunrise and the ballad were the only two that really didn't hit the mark for me. And the rest were either like good to great. So I think 5.5 is fair. And then I only gave him a 1.5 for concept because of how generic I thought the music video was and how the choreo just wasn't as good as it usually is. But I think the like styling for this comeback is really good. So I gave them a 1.5 overall. So 7 from me.
So for me, I gave it a 5 out of 5 out of 7, 5.5 out of 7 for music as well. I just, I don't know. I liked a lot of the songs on the album. I thought it was a really, really solid album. It's just that they're really not reinventing the wheel with a lot of these songs, and I feel like those are the ones that stood out the least. And I don't know, I just feel like they need to experiment a little more and go back and I guess just reflect upon like what they've done so far and what they'd like to do in the future, kind of thing, and experiment with different styles, but also still kind of appeal to their, I guess, to their audience. And yeah, basically everything was solid. It's just like they need to bring some more to the table if they want my 7 out of 7, basically. Yeah. And then for concept, I did 2 out of 3. I felt like everything was competently done at least, but like nothing blew me away totally. So I gave it a 2 out of 3, and then overall it'd be 7.5.
Okay. I'll read Cooper's thoughts now. So Cooper said, upon first listen, this album felt too samey and kind of bland to me. However, upon several more listens, I've come to really enjoy it. I think there's more experimentation here than the last couple albums, probably the most since The Awakening. There's some deep house elements sprinkled on Show Up and some tropical house elements sprinkled through Secret Love. On LUV, I actually like the light rap we got from So On and appreciate them at least trying new things. The title track is a nice continuation from Time for the Moon Night, though I don't think it's as catchy or impactful. The MV is beautifully shot, but still pretty standard GFriend. The choreo is fantastic, which isn't really a surprise. The last new track, Love Oh Love, really gave me classic GFriend vibes, and I love the dance break, short guitar solo in it. Overall, I think this album is stronger than their first album, LOL. That's the name of the album.
Yeah.
LOL. There's still a couple tracks that I probably won't go back to, like Truly Love. And he gave it music 6 out of 7. His favorite tracks were Sunrise and You Are Not Alone, Show Up, Love Oh Love, and LUV. He gave concept 2 out of 3, and so that's his total score is an 8 out of 10.
All right, so for Andrew, he broke down his music score into 2 different sections. Basically, he gave title track half the points, and then album tracks the other half the points. So title track, he said 2.5 out of 3.5. Album tracks 2.5 out of 3.5. Concept 1.5 out of 3, which totals to 6.5 out of 10. So his summary is: Sunrise, while being a solid GFriend single, is held back by Source Music's desire to appear to a fan base that seems to have a dogmatic... What?
To appease a fan base.
What did I say?
Appear.
To appear a fan base. Sorry. Source Music's desire to appease a fan base that seems to have a dogmatic devotion to a singular sound and concept. As much as I love GFriend and their music, I will always insist on them exploring new sounds like they have done with Fingertips and Sunny Summer, because it'd pain me to see a group this talented being held back by a complacency. While they explore new and unique directions on some of the album tracks like Show Up and It's You, While they explore...
Solid. That has to be solid. Delivered solid staples.
All right, yeah, because I was like, sold staples. I don't know what this means.
Solid.
All right, so while they explored new and unique directions on some of the album tracks like Show Up and It's You, delivered solid staples in songs like Our Secret, Truly Love, and The Starry Sky, and made an incredible Korean version of Memoria, arguably a top 5 GFriend song in my eyes. Overall, the album felt unnecessarily bloated and could have been trimmed down to 8 or 9 tracks. In terms of concept, I feel as if the visuals of Sunrise's MV were way too boring and safe, and similarly to the song itself, felt like they only tried to copy Time for the Moonlight, not iterate upon it. And while GFriend's choreography is usually the highlight of their comebacks, in this case it just felt too anemic and bland, knowing the style and skill they're capable of. I don't mean to be too hard on GFriend nor this album, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing right by this group that I've grown to love over the years so if I just sugarcoated the truth. So, in the end, he ended up giving up a 6.5 out of 10.
Yep, so overall, it's a 7.25, so I think we round that up to a 7.5.
Yeah, that's
We used to round
we round up to half points, I think, up. Now.
Yeah. So, yeah, we used to round 0.5s up to a full point, so I assume we round 0.25 and 0.75 up to their half point and full point. So 7.5 overall.
Yep.
It's a good good album, not crazy.
Yep.
Nothing blew us away. It sounded like we all have pretty similar thoughts on the album overall. So yeah. Want to outro us?
They truly love. What was it?
Yeah, truly love.
Yeah, stay truly love.
Throbbingly love.
Yeah, so this, I really liked this song, More Than Hug Me, so I wrote in my notes that, yeah, it kind of reminded me of like a EXID B-side at times.
Yeah, definitely.
With like, yeah, like the funky instrumental.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also